So my name is Paris Dufrayer. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Finboot. And today we are doing a webinar that's a selective webinar. It's different from the other models we have done. We invited a few selected customers to join us today, where we will have Dr. Bettina Urlich talking about her experience in implementing blockchain into enterprise, as well as she understands a lot about the technology itself. So it will be a great opportunity to learn from her. During the first 30 minutes, we'll be recording. It will be just like really Bettina presenting it. And then we'll stop the recording for everyone to participate. We also have here with us Flavia Sales, that is helping us on the background of the webinar. Flavia, you can present yourself.
Okay, thank you, Paris. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So as Paris says, I'm going to be your supporting and I'm going to record this webinar, just the first part, the Bettina presentations that will be provided after the event. And after Bettina presentation, we are going to open to Q&A. So you can send questions on the Q&A chat, or if you prefer to speak up, you can raise your hand and I will open your microphone. Okay, so thank you, Paris.
So thank you, everyone. Now I will start the presentation and Bettina will be able to present herself. Bettina, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay, and you start the presentation. Thank you, Paris. Yeah, enterprise transformation, blockchain's role in sustainable supply chains. That is what we want to talk about. And I can promise you today, I don't want to talk about blockchain technology, but I want to talk about the versatile use cases and benefits, especially for and in the supply chain. And I want to dispel the biggest myths about blockchain. I come later to the 5 biggest myths about blockchain. Yeah, let me introduce myself briefly today. That's me, Bettina Urlich. I worked for more than 33 years in the Evonik Group, formerly known as Degussa, in various operational and strategic management functions. And thereof more than 10 years in IT responsibilities, management responsibilities, and 8 years, my last 8 years in the company as the CIO. So I'm quite familiar with business processes in chemistry, and I understand which technology solutions make sense for developing of profitable business processes and new digital business models. Yeah, together with the business in our company, we have launched and successfully implemented blockchain solutions in our supply chain processes, and I want to share 3 examples of these blockchain solutions later. So, and I have been, as you see, a member of Finboot's management board since February. So I'm a new kid on the block here, the newest kid on the block of Finboot. Yeah, I would like to start with what I think a strong statement from Abigail Johnson. Blockchain technology isn't just more efficient way to settle securities. It will fundamentally change market structures and maybe even the architecture of the internet itself. So, and now with this statement, I'm come to the 5 biggest myths about blockchain. First myth, blockchain technology eats up a lot of energy. Second myth, apart from cryptocurrency, there's no meaningful fields of applications. Third myth, the technology is super complex. Fourth myth, due to high level of complexity, many experts are required and needed by the users. And the 5th myth, the blockchain-based applications do not have a good cost-benefit ratio because there are too expensive. So these are the 5 myths, and now allow me to start even with a bit provocative headline. I think really that the blockchain technology is revolutionary. That will change a lot and has a lot of strategic and economic value in various application potentials, various, in all industries, in banks, in institutes, even in political election processes, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of high potential. Why? Because the blockchain technology represents the truth, because all calculations are based on the same data set. Then blockchain technology is forgery proof, because every change to the blockchain is both visible and traceable. Then blockchain technology is secure, because decentralized storage of data history and multiple computers keep the truth of the data, cannot be changed. And of course, and that is also Paris talked about, the requirements for transparency, even with the ESG requirements as one example. And blockchain also helps to provide transparency, because it can be viewed, the data can be viewed by all authorized, and that's important, participants in real time. So it's a kind of squaring the circle, because a blockchain technology enables full transparency along the supply chain, and while respecting trade secrets. So that is, I think, the revolutionary feature of blockchain technology. Truth and trust. These are 2 sides of the coin. Or with other words, if you know the truth, you don't need trust. If you can be really sure that you have the truth in your hand, why do you need trust to somebody? So, and that's why the blockchain technology, with the inherent feature that blockchain provides the truth, which can not be changed over the whole value chain by all participants, cannot be manipulated. So blockchain applications we are talking about today are technology based on DLT technology, so distributed ledger technology. That means distributed, permissioned, and private. And that is the difference to, or the opposite to, cryptocurrency architecture of blockchain, which is a public architecture, a public blockchain architecture. And that's why so much energy is needed for the whole authorization process if people want to get information or want to get access to their digital cryptocurrency wallets. That is the biggest difference. And you know the participants in your distributed ledger technology environment. And that's one answer of the question, why can we keep the truth in this blockchain data management? Because it's organized and stored in a very decentralized storage of encrypted data on an infrastructure with different nodes, which all nodes are really interacting with each other and can change data with each other. And the data are secure and can just be accessed by authorized participants to their own data or to all the relevant data of their business partners. So this opens up mutually transparency in data which are relevant to business processes, such as customer order, purchase order, product information, and of course also digital wallets, which have to be made available via participating banks. So with other words, we need somebody who can provide us the infrastructure for a digital euro. That has to be done by the banks. So productive examples, use cases, what I want to present are coming really from the real praxis, with different content, with different purposes. And these examples, what I want to share with you, I want to generate some inspirations for you that you know, okay, how can blockchain be used in our supply chain, in our company? So inspiration can just be created if we are sharing and if we are being open to share our experience. So that's my target for today. I want to inspire you to use blockchain technology in your companies, because blockchain really can create the classical win-win position for all partners on a very secure but also profitable way. So then let me come to our fields of applications for blockchain technology processes. Paris mentioned already sustainability. Of course, digital product pass is one application or one use case, and you can find a lot of other, because all the requirements, ESG requirements, are coming from the European Commission, coming from Germany, coming from almost all countries, and that's very, very important that we can, at least also as a customer, that we can really be safe, that we get the truth about CO2 emission, for example. Product certification. I have one example for the payment network. That is what I already talked about. A new billing methods based on digital money. I don't talk about cryptocurrency. I talk about digital money, for example, euro or US dollar or whatever. Autonomous supply chains, no? Fully automated, based on smart contracts. Proof of preference, I mean, that's obvious that blockchain can deliver here a good solution. Supply Chain Act, yeah, that's also coming more and more as in European, now it's in law for Germany, but it will come also for all other, at least European companies. And of course, that is also going along with sustainability, circular economy, so that we have really, that we create safe and secure and true documents for circular material. Yeah, then let me start with the first example about product certification. Yeah, I have here an example which is probably a little bit surprising. I want to talk about the salmon farming. Salmon farming and blockchain and probably chemistry. How can that comes together? That's easily, because product verification can be done via tagging, and tagging is the basis to create digital twins of materials. In this case, the material is a living one, at least as long he is feeded, as a salmon. And a salmon can be fed with traditional animal feed. Usually it's based on shrimps, or with special bred algae with a high proportion of omega-3 fatty acid. That was developed and created with DSM and Evonik. So they've made a lot of investment in research and development of special algae with these high 3 omega fatty acids. And it's important, otherwise a salmon is not healthy at all. So it needs these 3 omega fatty acids. So, and now it's important, if a salmon will be fed with these algae, then it's probably more healthy, and it's based on plants, not on animals. So it's a vegetarian salmon, if you want. Yeah, and customers are really interested to get these high quality salmon meat, these high quality salmons, and that's why they have to be sure that they really, if they pay a higher price for a higher quality, then they have to be sure that the quality is really in the product, in the salmon. Smoked or not smoked, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So, and that's why with this digital twin of the salmon, the origins of production can be tracked over the whole supply chain to the end consumer of the salmon product in the supermarket. Yeah, and that can be also done with a tracking technology. And if you track then the information on the salmon, you will find a blockchain secure data. Yes, this salmon is a vegetarian one, so to speak. Yeah, and that's one good example, because then the customer can be really sure this salmon is a vegetarian. The next example, it's belonging to the Supply Chain Act, and gives a good example how we can ensure that we follow all requirements and all compliance with the Supply Chain Due Diligence Act, in short form, the Supply Chain Act. Here I have a productive example from for the tracking of big bags. So big bags are needed, especially also in the chemistry industry, and the big bags coming from countries like Indonesia, like Bangladesh, India, and so on and so forth. So, and even here is more or less comparable with product certification. The application provides the proof of the origin of the big bag. So basically, it's the same principle. Somebody starts at the beginning of the whole production of this big bag, and of course need to prove that all the parameters of the Supply Chain Act are fulfilled from the company which is producing this big bag. Yeah? So it's the first tag on the big bag. So the material, the energy, how they treat the employees, and so on and so forth. It all fulfills the regulations of the Supply Chain Act. And then this tag is also mirrored in a digital twin and goes along the whole supply chain to the end consumer of, in this case, a B2B business. So the end consumer with the product inside of the big bag, for example, a solid chemical product, can be truth and can give proof also to their end consumer that the big bags coming from a country like Indonesia or India are fulfilling or is fulfilling all the requirements of the Supply Chain Act. And that is the truth, because it's proved from the beginning, cannot be changed over the whole supply chain. And with all steps, supply chain steps, a new data block, encrypted data block will be added. So finally, the whole supply chain gives the proof of the original data following and fulfilling the Supply Chain Act. I mean, that's really important. Also for me as an end consumer, I'm really interested to get the truth. No? I'm interested to get the truth that our companies are working on a fair basis, and helping also other countries and people living and working in the countries that they can work and live on a very fair, relative fair living condition and working conditions. Yeah, that is the other example. And now I'm coming to a really, I think, very interesting example for new billing methods with digital euro. And this is here a good example for one of the first project which has been kicked off and launched and implemented between three parties: BASF, Evonik, and Commerzbank. And in the meanwhile, other companies have joined this platform with these fully automated supply chain, including the digital euro for the automated payment. Yeah, this project also got a lot of interest, and I don't know that this will truly be happen, should actually build up a little bit pressure in the direction of the bank, also of the ECB, European Central Bank, yeah, because there's one fact is absolutely clear: the industry need the digital money, the digital euro, for the fully automation of their processes, and of course, somebody, the ECB or the European Commission, need to invest in the infrastructure to provide the basis, the infrastructure to use the digital euro in our supply chain processes. And I'm really sure that with the more and more developing ecosystems, somebody probably is familiar with Catena X. It's the ecosystem of the automotive industry in Germany. With these growing ecosystems, the pressure on the banks or on the European Commission will continue to grow. I'm absolutely sure. And that's a positive signal and information. The EU Commission has already reacted and issued the MiCA regulation. We think that the MiCA regulation is really liberal. And MiCA, just to explain it, stands for Market in Crypto Assets, not cryptocurrency, crypto assets. And that's the difference. And I want to add or mention here another regulation for Germany, the Electronic Security Act. And this is an example for a new regulation in Germany for digital trading or in bonds or securities. But however, there are still a lot of things to do, and some issues are really left open because this regulation doesn't fulfill all regulations also for the stock exchange and the banks. So there's a group of people is working on it. I'm sure that will come, and that also will speed up the trading process for bonds and securities dramatically. And the banks, they get a complete new role in this game. That's also a huge change for the whole banking system. So now let me come more to the project. Sorry if I just... can you go one slide back, please? I just want to start with the supply chain, yeah? So every business, as you know, begins normally with the customer order, then comes the purchase order, and that on both sides. You have the customer and the provider, and we have the purchase order and the customer order. No? And this is based and delivered with a lot of documents, incoming, outcoming goods for the orders, a lot of documents. Of course, they have to be legally safe and secure. That's clear. And normally the data, all the data of all the documents are recorded in the respective ERP systems of the companies. And of course, then of the business partners. So, and all these data, incoming order, purchase order, product documents for the product itself, and also the whole payment needs to be checked by the partners on both sides X times, and somehow they send the information back and forth X times. So very unproductive, very inefficient. So, and when everything has been checked, then often with manual corrections during the whole process, the delivery of the goods follows, and then the invoice comes, and then as the last step, the payment, with special payment terms. So that's why it can take 90 days or even 180 or even more days from the cash out for the producer and the cash in for the producer. So, and that's provides a very slow cash flow, and is again very unproductive. So with this example here, which is a living and productive example, with the smart contract, with the digital validation across the ERP systems based on an infrastructure, blockchain infrastructure, which offers transparency for the relevant data for the provider and the customer. So they have access, so to speak, via this blockchain platform to the relevant data for this business process. So, and that is absolutely doable in real time. So, and then if everything is automated checked, then the payment comes, and that is now the digital euro, which comes in the play now. So when the next slide shows a little bit how that flows, and the first and most important thing is that the payment is based on a digital wallet instead of a classical bank account. So the partner give each other a digital signature and sense of settlement during the whole supply chain process. By the way, it took us a lot of effort and time and discussions with lawyers to make this settlement digital happen, legally assured. Over a period of time, we had more lawyers working in the project than IT developer or so. But the positive message is it's done. The solution is proved and there, usable for other companies. It's not a secret. So because this Commerzbank is here our partner in this case. So, and the bank, the role of the bank is now that they offer this wallet and they provide X million, a volume of money on the wallets, and this wallet can then be used for the transactionally payments. So the wallet, there is no cash flow going back and forth. There is an information, a digital information. I need 50,000 euro from your wallet, and on the other side, I get 50,000 euro in my wallet, or 100. Transactional for transactional. So that's why the cash flow is huge, more improved. It's much more faster. And with these automatically payments, the whole process can be end-to-end automated. And as I said, it's in place. And the biggest obstacle, the whole legal issues have been developed, and there's also a solution available. So that was my last example. I hope with this example I was able to put some myths away about blockchain, but Do you remember? We have 5 myths, and here are still some myths left regarding complexity and costs. And I think, Paris, you can give an answer to put also these myths away.
Thank you, Bettina. So yes, this is just a little presentation from Finboot, just to say that we have developed at Finboot some blockchain applications and a platform to take away, number one, complexity and high cost of implementation. So we based the development of our solution in 3 main pillars that are happening as we speak, right? So companies are much more pressured for their ESG reports and their sustainability initiatives, and they need to really evidence it. We know to evidence it, it is a big challenge, just like we saw in some examples from Dr. Bettina, to really be able to track a production and to be able to have transparency in the complex supply chains. So that's how we linked ESG and sustainability with also what's happening with complex and interconnected supply chains from enterprises. And to be able to address it, we developed it through digital transformation. So those 3 pillars are the reasons, let's say, for our existence. And we created the Marco platform that can really enable fast value to market and time to market by enterprises adopting blockchain technology. In the next slide, we can see some of our experience on delivering our blockchain solutions. So on the left-hand side, we are really growing with flagship customers. So our customers are the enterprise level where they really need a trustable solution. And we are able to attend them. Our idea is not just to make a pilot and go. We have long-term relationships with our customers by providing, like I said, software as a service, so very time to value solutions to market. And those are some of the customers in different industries, because our solution is really very configurable and easy to deploy. So we have customers in the energy sector, in the chemical sector, many customers like Evonik, SABIC, Stahl, for example, mining sector as Omnia, Celsa, that also supplies to the construction sector, Cepsa. Those are some of our customers, Amy. And on the left-hand side, you also see a note that have been released for the investment reports from SABIC. So they are saying about the initiative that we have on traceability solution that can really trace and give transparency to different stakeholders where on their product called TrueCircle. TrueCircle, it is a polymer that's made by renewable plastic. So they can prove from the plastic waste until a new plastic product is being done, all the traceability that it goes. So it's a circular economy project that's live and running, and actually is being expanded as we speak with new suppliers and new customers. And last but not least, just to talk about one of the main applications that we have developed in the Marco platform, which is a blockchain platform that really takes out the complexity. It is the Marco Track and Trace application that is being used for most of our customers, and where we can deploy digital product passports. We can also ensure reporting for ESG and sustainability initiatives, including even automated mass balance bookkeeping and calculation, which is really important. I know in the chemical industry and also in the oil and gas industry, and end-to-end traceability and visibility to all stakeholders, including from suppliers to the end customer. So now I'm going to stop and go back to Bettina for her final words on our webinar before questions and answers.
Yeah, first of all, I really, to be honest, I'm really impressed about this micro platform, because it's really put all the complexity away. It's also easily to implement, and it helps also to manage the data flow across the value chain, because the application also provides a good solution for the data management. And that's really, I'm impressed. That is really the unique selling point for Finboot, to provide these easy to use. Yeah, it's a kind of plug and play solution for blockchain application. And all the complexity is not visible and managed by the software itself. And that's great. Yeah. Wrap up the famous summary. I think we talked about a lot of values or value potentials for the blockchain application. How can we use blockchain application in our supply chain? And blockchain is an application from the technology which provides a data protection and also helps to build up trust. Yeah, and if I think about these ChatGPT and all these things, yeah, so how easily we can really manipulate a news, how easily we can create fake news or deep fakes, yeah, with also language which sounds very originally. That for me, it's as always, you have advantages and also disadvantages, or chances and risks, with other words. And blockchain also, if really the truth is needed, and if a society need to ensure or need to be safe that the information which they get from politicians or from everywhere, that these are really true and not manipulated. So I'm, as a normal person, I'm really interested to get the truth. I hate these fakes and half-truths, which can be also interpreted in different directions. So that's why I think blockchain can also give an answer to complete other problems in the global society of democracy, for example. Yeah. So which is really important, or one of the beauty of this technology, it enables real-time data, also with this digital twin, and also with the traceability of the data over the whole supply chain in real time. Offers a broad range of applications in industries, in almost all industries, in insurance, in banks, healthcare, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but if we talk about data security, for example, with the digital health ID and all the data about my personal health, and I want to be sure that the data cannot be manipulated, that could lead to a huge catastrophe, and that the data are my data and encrypted and just accessible to the authorized people I personally can authorize, that they have access to my, for example, health data. So it's also a huge field of application. It's an integrated technology, can be integrated in the supply chain, like the micro application. Yeah, it's easily to integrate, and then it's part of the end-to-end managed, secure managed process. Yeah, we need investments and standards in Germany, in Europe, and also all over the world. Even when it comes to the digital payments based on the digital money. yeah, with other words, and I'm coming back to my first provocative headline. For me, blockchain is still revolutionary with a lot of upside potential, and is about nothing less than the protection and integrity of personal and machine-based data. And don't underestimate the machine-based data. So no, it's the ecosystems, which are really absolutely necessary to manage end-to-end processes cross-industry, like for the automotive or for all other industries. Yeah, then you have to also share or deploy all these ecosystems, sensor-based data from the machines. And somehow the machine data are providing a lot of or even critical know-how. And that's why it's so important we protect also this machine-based sensoric data against manipulation and also against spies also, yeah, from other countries. No? So, and of course, blockchain technology is about safeguarding of our future in a lot of application fields, which can be developed based on this blockchain technology. Yeah, so thank you very much for joining. Also on behalf of the Finboot team, I'm really happy to be part of this team. It's a great dynamic young team with a lot of good ideas and is very engaged. That's why I'm really happy to be part of this management team and of the whole Finboot team. Yeah, I think we have now a couple of minutes left, no? 15
Yes.
to 10 minutes for discussions, for Q&A session, for your questions. So we would be happy if you send some questions or post some questions via the chat. So Flavia is our backstage manager, and thank you very much. And even you can also raise your hand if you want to speak up, then raise your hand and we have here an open discussion.
Thank you very much, Bettina, and it was really inspiring. Your ending, I love it, to safeguard our future. That's really inspiring. Thank you. So yes, we invite the audience to make some questions. Take that opportunity and we will stop recording now.